Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving headfirst into one of the most shocking and honestly kind of iconic fashion moments that I think we're going to be talking about for years to come. I'm talking about the Black Tape Project 2025, an event that was supposed to be all about edgy, innovative designs, but instead, it turned into a literal meltdown. We're not just talking about a wardrobe malfunction, you guys. We're talking about outfits dissolving right before everyone's eyes. Imagine the scene, the lights, the cameras, the anticipation, and then disaster. We've got the inside scoop, the footage, the science, everything you need to understand how this jaw-dropping spectacle unfolded. We're going to look at slow-motion footage showing the exact moment the tape began to surrender to the heat, dripping and peeling away under those intense runway lights. And trust me, the backstage interviews with the panicked staff, they are intense. So grab your tea, get comfortable, because this story is absolutely wild, and you are not going to believe your eyes. Let's kick things off with the first outfit that signaled this was no ordinary fashion show. A stunning model, owning the runway, adorned in a breathtaking geometric design, all crafted from shimmering gold tape. From a distance it looked like liquid gold poured onto her skin. The crowd was mesmerized, cameras flashing, pure fashion magic. But then, under the intense stage lights, things began to change. At first it was almost imperceptible, a slight sheen more like sweat than melting material. Backstage we noticed something was off. The sharp angles began to soften like a Dali painting. The model tried to maintain her composure, but concern crossed her face. The gold tape started to sag, the edges drooped, the reflective surface turned gooey. Whispers started among the audience. The tape was losing its structural integrity. This wasn't art, it was an accident in progress. The intense heat was the design's ultimate nemesis. Next up, just as the audience was trying to process the gold mishap, came the second look, a futuristic silver ensemble that was meant to look like chrome armor. This one was even more ambitious, with intricate paneling and what appeared to be metallic silver tape meticulously applied to create a robotic yet sensual silhouette. The model strode out with confidence, the silver reflecting the lights in a dazzling display. For a hot second we all thought, okay, maybe the gold one was a fluke, a one-off. Oh, how wrong we were. This time, we had the advantage of seeing some leaked thermal camera footage from a crew member, and you guys, it was revealing. As the model moved under the lights, the thermal imaging showed these angry red and orange hotspots developing all over the silver tape, particularly on the sections directly facing the strongest spotlights. The tape was literally absorbing and retaining an incredible amount of heat. You could see the temperature readings on certain areas climbing rapidly, far exceeding what any adhesive could reasonably withstand. The silver tape, much like the gold, began to succumb almost immediately. But because of its broader, more panel-like application, the failure was somehow more dramatic. Instead of just drooping, entire sections started to slide. Imagine trying to hold a wet bar of soap. That was the kind of grip the adhesive had left. Just when you thought it couldn't get any more chaotic, out came outfit number 3. This was a dramatic crimson-red creation, all sharp angles and bold slashes of tape, designed to look fierce and powerful. The color was incredible, a deep blood red that should have screamed confidence. Instead it screamed emergency, because this one started to unravel even faster than the first two, and the backstage interviews we managed to get snippets of paint a picture of pure, unadulterated panic. According to one backstage dresser who wished to remain anonymous, the moment they saw the gold outfit start to go, then the silver, a wave of dread washed over them. "We knew," she said, her voice still shaky. "We just knew the red was next, and it was one of the most complex applications. They had apparently used a slightly different, supposedly stronger adhesive for this one, hoping it would hold. Spoiler alert, it did not. The heat was just too much for any tape to handle." As the model wearing the crimson design stepped into the glare of the lights, pieces started to detach almost instantly. A particularly dramatic strip that was meant to curve elegantly around her hip just let go. It didn't sag, it didn't slide, it snapped loose at one end and dangled precariously. The model flinched, a tiny, almost imperceptible movement, but on the close-up shots her eyes widened in momentary shock. The crimson tape was betraying her in real time. People were running around like headless chickens, another backstage source, a production assistant, told us. Outfit number 4 was an ambitious emerald green piece, designed with intricate, almost lace-like patterns of tape. It was supposed to be delicate, ethereal, and incredibly detailed. And for a brief moment, it was. But by now the runway was practically a proving ground for adhesive failure, and the emerald tape, despite its beauty, was no exception. As this one began to wilt, we started to dig into the science, and we got some chemists to explain exactly why this was happening. Most commercial tapes, especially decorative or craft tapes like those likely used, utilize acrylic-based adhesives. These adhesives are fantastic for many applications, but they have a relatively low softening point. We're talking temperatures easily reached under intense stage lighting, sometimes as low as 60 to 70 degrees Celsius, or 140 to 160 Fahrenheit, for the adhesive to lose significant tackiness. The emerald tape, with its fine lacework style application, had minimal surface area contact for each individual strand. This meant that as soon as the adhesive on any small section began to soften, that piece was compromised. Unlike a wide, solid strip that might hold on a bit longer due to sheer coverage, these delicate green tendrils started to curl and detach with alarming speed. The model looked like a beautiful forest nymph whose foliage was rapidly dying. It's not just the adhesive. The tape backing itself, often a PVC or polypropylene film, also has a glass transition temperature. When it exceeds this, the tape goes from being fairly rigid to soft and pliable. It loses its structural integrity. So you have a double whammy: the adhesive is failing, and the tape itself is deforming under the heat. This explained the weird stretching and warping we saw, not just peeling. The emerald green design with its intricate cutouts and delicate bridges of tape was particularly susceptible to this dual failure. Chapter 5. Outfit 5. The Midnight Blue Meltdown, a cascade of design flaws. The Midnight Blue creation featured broad, sweeping curves of tape, meant to evoke fluidity and movement. Structurally sound-looking due to wider strips, it highlighted a different flaw. The weight and layering of the tape, combined with the heat, caused issues. Multiple layers increased the mass, making it visually striking but problematic. The adhesive softened under the lights, unable to support the weight. The foundation crumbled under too much load, starting at the shoulder. A thick, sculpted piece began to peel away as an entire unit. The model tensed as the piece began its descent, a failure to account for material stress limits. Gravity won as the tape stretched and pulled away under its own weight. The stark white surrender. Could this happen to you? The minimalist white tape design was expected to fail, and it did. The tape showed stress lines and lifted edges, breaking the illusion. Movement caused buckling, making it look like a poorly applied bandage. Could this happen to you? A real concern for DIY fashion enthusiasts. The tape's failure revealed skin irritation, a warning for all users. Chapter 7. Outfit 7, The Rainbow's End is Molten, Impact and Lessons Learned. The seventh and final outfit to face the heat was, ironically, a vibrant rainbow-themed piece. It was meant to be a celebration of color and creativity, a grand finale. Instead, it became the final, definitive statement on the day's pervasive theme: utter, unadulterated meltdown. This piece, incorporating multiple colors of tape in intricate, swirling patterns, began to disintegrate almost before the model reached the midway point of the runway. It was a chaotic, sticky, and sadly predictable end. The impact of this entire series of failures was immediate and widespread. Social media exploded, memes were born. Fashion critics were, by turns, horrified, amused, and deeply critical. The Black Tape Project, a brand built on edginess and innovation, suddenly found itself the subject of ridicule and a case study in what not to do. The carefully curated image of daring artistry was overshadowed by the very real, very visible failure of their chosen medium. One of the biggest lessons learned, or at least one that should have been learned, is the absolute necessity of rigorous material testing under actual performance conditions. It's not enough for something to look good in a cool studio or a fitting room. If it's going on a runway, under blazing hot lights, it needs to be able to withstand that environment. This seems like common sense, but clearly, it was overlooked in a major way. The incident also sparked a broader conversation about the pressures on models and the responsibilities of designers. Asking models to wear outfits that are literally falling apart, potentially causing discomfort or skin irritation, raises ethical questions. Okay, you guys, that was a lot. I am still literally speechless at the sheer audacity of it all, and then the absolute chaos that ensued. From the first golden drip to that final rainbow puddle, The Black Tape Project 2025 was truly a spectacle none of us will be forgetting anytime soon. It's one thing to have a vision, to be an artist, to push boundaries, but, honey, you also have to make sure your tape actually, sticks. It's giving failed science experiment, but make it fashion. But beyond the memes and the sheer OMG factor, there are some real takeaways here. Material science is not a joke, especially when you're putting things on the human body and under intense conditions like runway lights. It's a reminder for all of us, whether you're a designer, a DIY queen, or just someone who loves fashion, to really think about the materials we use and the situations we put them in. Safety, and let's be real, avoiding a majorly embarrassing public meltdown should always be key.